us that Botswana is a safe destination for capital and innovation in this era of the knowledge economy.
This is the journey to One Africa.
Please be seated. Thank you very much. Good morning, eminent ladies and gentlemen of the Army. I may begin on what others call protocol, but I call it piety. Piety, which I'm told is a reverent acknowledgement of all the sources of good in your life and an appreciation of everybody who has given of him or herself to make you who and what you are, and I acknowledge you in that spirit. Let me start with the Minister for State President, the Minister responsible for Defense, Remweti Caesar Mohwasa. Recognize in our midst Me Emma Beloetlets, Permanent Secretary to the President. Gratefully acknowledge Lieutenant General Placid Diratsagae Seroko, Commander, Botswana Defense Force. And let me also recognize his deputies. Let me appreciate the presence in our midst of senior government officials, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning once again. Let me start on a light and cheerful note. A few years ago, I was taken to some farm in Namibia, and I was given a high-precision rifle with a telescope, and I was given quick instructions on how to use this rifle. And we went out, and from a distance, there was a crowd of elands. And I was asked to take down one. There were a few. So I looked through the telescope, and I was confident. I planned that if I do not get this one by some streak of ill fortune, I must get this one. And if I don't get this one, certainly this one. There was, in my estimation, no way I could miss. And so I took aim, and I pulled the trigger. And I was shocked to see the eland still standing there. I had the theory. I knew, I was told, I understood very well. But it was actually my first time to do this. And I think instead of going that direction, the bullet went a different direction. And the people I was with, realizing this, stopped and focused on making sure I hit something. It was in the afternoon. We went on until it became dark. I couldn't hit anything. I tried. And at the end of the engagement, I said to the guys, let us all agree, I was never meant to kill anything. And so I have operated on this understanding since, until very recently, when I was taken to the range. And now I was given proper guidance. And they put a bottle, exactly this one, at 50 meters. I hit it with no difficulty. They put it at 100 meters. I blew it up, no difficulty. 200 meters, no difficulty. 300 meters, same story, no difficulty. 500, that's where I stopped. And they said to me, now you are moving into sniper range. So this was to assure you that I am now competent. And so when the chips are down and you've done your job, you may look in my direction for practical support. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor and privilege for me to be here with you today and to speak to you at this 20th Senior Officers Strategic Conference, which you hold under the theme Embracing a New Dawn in Defense Capabilities Inspired by Human Security, Accountability, and Meritocracy. The theme is bold and it is timely. It is as bold and timely as it is inspirational. It sounds a clarion call for transformation, innovation, a people-centered approach to national defense, and a demonstration of a steadfast commitment to the values that have defined the Botswana Defense Force for decades. This theme speaks not only of change in our hardware and tactics, but also to our systems and people. Let me take this opportunity to thank the Director of Proceedings and other members of the BDF for your dedicated service and for keeping Botswana safe. Botswana appreciate the sacrifices you make, often at a huge personal cost, in order to attain a safe and stable environment in which personal freedoms are assured. We owe you and the entire membership of the BDF a debt that we can never fully repay. So let me acknowledge here and now that I have interacted with the commander on many occasions, and he has outlined to me some of the challenges that the BDF is currently facing. These include issues pertaining to conditions of service for the members, as well as the civilian employees of the BDF. Operational readiness, social welfare challenges, mostly aggravated by the ever-changing operational environment in which you exist. I give you my assurance, solemn and serious, that government is committed to ensuring that our military is adequately equipped and resourced for the full range of military operations it has to undertake. We will continue to listen to your concerns with an open mind, and we will continue to address these concerns in the best manner we can. Some of the challenges that face us and you involve issues of pensions, and when they involve pensions, they obviously implicate retirement, which for the BDF occurs very early. Maybe there's need to engage on that issue, the age of retirement. I've reflected on it privately. I want us to reflect on it publicly and engage each other and establish whether this age, which has applied for so many years, is the right and perfect age for retirement. We also are wrestling with issues of accommodation, healthcare services, equipment maintenance, refurbishment, and replacement of your military wear. We may ask, what do Botswana expect from you in return? In your service to this nation, the citizens expect you to be gatekeepers of all the things that are good and noble about the profession of arms. Botswana reposes special trust and confidence in you to serve them with diligence above all other considerations. Your first responsibility is the protection of life, and you cannot have your members act otherwise. Any departure from this professional conduct will invariably erode the trust and confidence that the nation places in you. You are the nation's first line of defense. The nation expects of you to provide a secure and stable environment, which is a foundation upon which economic growth is built. This is because your role in maintaining national peace and security directly and indirectly enhances Botswana's attractiveness to foreign investors. One of the investors who had only been in Botswana for 3 days expressed to me how he had fallen so much in love with the country in those 3 days. And I asked him what it was about the country that had been so attractive to him. And he said to me, there's a fundamental niceness about the country. Fundamental niceness. And I was extremely happy because I understood deep in my heart that that fundamental niceness is constructed around the peace and the stability this country offers, a predictable and safe environment undergirded by a disciplined, committed Botswana Defense Force. And so I urge and encourage that you continue to be that anchor for the country and its economy, and be that bulwark of safety and security, peace, that guarantees the enjoyment of the fundamental rights, human rights that every citizen must enjoy. And these rights, we all must know, are both universal and they are interdependent and indivisible. Human rights are interdependent. You cannot assure one to the exclusion of others. You must assure them all. And they are indivisible. That is why it becomes a fundamental imperative for the country to ensure that those who guarantee its peace, its safety, and security are themselves taken care of. It is an obligation, therefore, to look after the Botswana Defense Force. It is your work, your commitment that continues to reassure investors that Botswana is a safe destination for capital and innovation in this era of the knowledge economy. And I've said it is the knowledge economy. If you don't want to say knowledge economy, you can say the experimental economy. An economy that must thrive on vigorous subjacent experimentation, innovation, creativity, the ability to defy the conventional and the commonplace, the ability to venture into the realm of the far removed, the speculative, and fashion solutions that may not have been known before. Because if we remain hostages of the current, then we will fail to enter the gates of the future. So I encourage you to be innovative, to embrace technology, to develop and deploy homegrown solutions to the challenges that you face. You should always think innovatively around technology and its utilization in relation to the defense systems, and refine your tactical acumen accordingly. Your innovative ideas could very easily give birth to a defense industry that will not only shorten your supply chain, but can also make you self-sufficient in certain supplies, as well as contribute to economic development. In this regard, I have directed that a feasibility study on setting up a defense industry be prioritized, and your technical input is essential. We need to develop this military industrial complex. We need to develop it quickly. And so we will have to amend the laws so that they facilitate this and conduce to its realization in the shortest possible time. It will present prospects and opportunities for many of you. That whatever we decide ultimately about the retirement age, retirement may only mean shifting from active duty into a corollary supportive industry. Who is best placed to be involved in that defense industry than yourselves? And so I'd urge you to attend to this matter with dispatch, because it presents a special opportunity for you. I also would like to urge, there are many programs that we are trying to develop on the trot. One of them is a housing program called Bonno Housing Scheme. The bold ambition of this program is to ensure home ownership. That no person in this country be without a decent house. And I've seen how many of our people retire into penury, into poverty. And there's a structural explanation for this. And I've said before, we have operated a low-wage economy across for a very long time, such that a person who earns 20,000 belongs in the top 1% of high income earners in this country. 20,000. And so you can imagine, if you slide all the way down, what it means for the everyday experience of our people. This should be a source of grave concern for all of us, especially for government. We need to be very concerned about this. And so when we complain, with good reason, we need to understand that we are dealing with a structural problem. And so we must face up to it and address it structurally. So this housing scheme is an attempt to place immovable property in the hands of citizens, as many of them as we possibly can. And the ambition is to build 100,000 of these houses in the next 3 years. I've said 3. The minister says he wants to do it in 2 years. And so this program is being rolled out in every constituency. The minimum is 1,000 houses. And so wherever you come from, you are entitled, if you have a piece of land that you've not been able to develop because of the challenges that we all face, you now can, for a very reasonable amount per month, at least put up some decent shelter. The idea is to ensure our citizens have decent accommodation. But we'll also engage in other programs that seek to deliberately
This is the journey to One Africa.